Hello, Catamounts. My name is Alexander Hoffman, and this is Chats with Cats presented by WeTV. In this series, we are interviewing some of our amazing athletes here at Western Carolina University. Today's guest, returning for her second interview, is Kennedy Stewman of our softball team. How are you, Kennedy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So, go ahead and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do on the softball team.
My name is Kennedy Stewman, but my teammates and coaches call me Tate. I'm a junior captain on the softball team, and I'm an infielder.
So, if you don't mind, could you go ahead and share a memorable moment from your athletics career at Western?
So he's not really my little brother, but he's basically my little brother. We have him every weekend, and he had a heart transplant 5 years ago, and his favorite thing is to go to sports games. Well, it just so happens that his heart day falls right in the middle of our season. So every year, both seasons so far, we've got to release balloons on the field to celebrate his heart transplant anniversary. So I think it's awesome that my coaches and teammates get just excited about that as I do and love and support him just as much as me and my family do.
Yeah, I think that is super exciting, and especially that much support on the field too is really nice, not just like behind the scenes.
Yes, for sure.
So kind of moving in with that as well, a lot of our student athletes talk about this, and I think we talked about it last time you were on, but the family feel within all the teams is something that like every single student athlete like we'll talk about for a long time, which I like. So I was kind of wanting to hear your perspective on that again, especially as right now with the fall season kind of being not as like constant go.
Yes, I think that part of the reason that my team is that way is that our coaches place a big emphasis on that when recruiting. So they look for girls that are going to fit right in with everyone else. And our coaches love us as people. They love the player or the person before the player, not the other way around. And in the fall, I think it's super fun. You know, we don't get a lot of time off in the spring, but I think the time that we do get off, we spend together. So it's just super fun to play the sport that I love with 19 girls that I love and 2 coaches that love me. So I just think that I know that talking to a lot of my friends that play elsewhere, not everyone is as blessed as we are here at Western with that experience. So I'm just super grateful that that's how we are treated here and that is something that stands out so much about the school.
Yeah, and I think that's like throughout every program and like connecting programs too. I hear a lot about like a lot of the teams are kind of connected together.
Yes, for sure.
Hang out all the time. So
we do.
It's like something, again, that's pretty unique, I think, about our school.
For sure.
And kind of moving into the thing about like the busier stretches in the spring, how do you stay motivated during those busy stretches in the spring while also the like kind of, I don't want to say like a lull in the fall, but like slower?
So I think that a lot of my teammates, and I'm sure other athletes do this as well, we use our off season to take our harder classes. So usually we're taking harder classes, so we're heavy on the class load and not as heavy on the practice load. And then we do the opposite in the spring. But I think staying motivated is the same in both. We have a wonderful support system. Our athletic advisor, she's one of my favorite people on the planet. I don't know what I would do without her. Same with our coaches. They're always checking in on us, telling us if we need anything that they have it. And then I also think a huge part of staying motivated is understanding that I'm so extremely blessed to be in the position I'm in, that not many people get to play college sports. And if they do, sometimes it's not, sunshines and rainbows and a good time like it is here. Like I love it here. So I just think staying motivated and realizing how special it is to have this time to play the sport.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It is a very unique thing to get to do that in the first place. And especially like at this level, because like up at the D1 level, everyone kind of sees you. And so, yeah, it is really nice. But kind of moving away from the athletics and more into the student side, because as always, these interviews are a lot more than just you as an athlete. It's you as a student. So what are you studying and what made you choose that major?
So I am a double major in business administration law and marketing. I came in wanting to do law, and then I've added marketing, and I love it. That's definitely what I want to use in my career is the marketing degree.
Yeah. As a marketing major, I can definitely understand.
Yes.
So how do you manage your time between academics and athletics? I know you kind of touched on the class load changing per semester, but
so that we do that, of course, but then I've said it, I'll say it a million times, but the support system we have here is like no other. So fortunately, a lot of my teammates are business majors, older and younger. So classes I'm taking someone else already has experience in, so they can give me some help when I'm struggling. And then our advisor is always giving us any resources we can ever need to make sure that we're doing okay in the classroom.
Yeah, and our athletic advisors, like in general, I've had the chance to speak with a couple of them at various points, and they're just like so dedicated.
They are.
And it's really nice to see that.
Like, I think this is not really on topic, but our advisor, I think and I've played here for 2 years, she's missed 2 games total. So she comes to every game we play. So she goes above and beyond.
What's your advisor's name?
Haley Mitchell.
So shout out Haley Mitchell. So what are some challenges besides the time management you face as a student athlete, and how do you overcome those?
I think we have really long days, so sometimes it's hard to stay focused. We start at 6:45 a.m. in the weight room, and we get done with practice at 6 p.m. So it's a 12-hour day. So I think sometimes the struggle is just staying focused on what your goal is and not just go through the motions. But for me, when I make it to the field and I'm there with my teammates and coaches who all have the same goals that I do, it's really easy to snap back into that, let's go in a SoCon championship mode, because that's what we're after, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So another question kind of along that vein is, how has being a student athlete overall like shaped your college experience?
So growing up, I played 3 sports. I played all 3 sports till I got here. So I felt like coming in, I was equipped to do the time management stuff. So that part wasn't really as overwhelming to me as it is for some. I think it was just balancing, because it's easy to come in and be like, I have to do this 24/7. So I think that what I've learned is that my performance on the field doesn't shape me. And I did struggle with that my first little bit here. It's hard if you're not hitting, 500 and you make the plays all the time. It's hard sometimes to go back into that setting all the time. So I just think for me, it's helped me realize like my value as a person doesn't come from how I perform on the field. So I think that's been awesome. And my coaches have played a huge part in that too. They don't just care about my performance. They care about me as Kennedy Stewman. So that has definitely, I've learned a ton of that from experience here.
Recently, a lot of things that I've kind of like looked into in terms of like student athletes is that like student to athlete to life balance, because it's a lot of people are just balancing like work life or like work school life, but like on top of that you also have athletics. And so that's something that if you don't have that support system, it can be very difficult. So it is really good to hear just how like positive our support system is overall. And speaking on like that life balance as well, I kind of wanted to ask you a specific question. As a local to Western North Carolina, I myself am as well. For a little tidbit for any Chats with Cats fans that don't already know, I'm from Canton, North Carolina, so kind of close by. I kind of want to ask a little bit about your perspective on the devastation surrounding Hurricane Helene recently.
So I know personally that the only things that I dealt with were power outages, phone outages, and water. So I feel that me and my family were extremely fortunate to only have that much affect us. But I have went and volunteered in the Burnsville area, and the devastation there is, sickening. So I think it's been really awesome to see a lot of our athletes, and I'm sure other students, but our athletes have spent so much time volunteering. So it's been awesome to see athletes that aren't from this community like you and I are, but athletes come together and offer that support when the community needs it, even though it may not be the community that raised it. So I just think the family feel that we've talked about is really showing through the hurricane.
Yeah, something that I noticed like all over all of the different athletics teams' social medias was every single team was helping out in some way, whether it was like unloading or loading supplies or going out and volunteering in different places or supporting in whatever way they can.
I think that a lot of people think that that's coach-led, but it's not. The athletes want to do that. They want to go help, so that's really awesome to see.
Yeah, and so that is kind of, I want to go ahead and remind everybody about just how like impactful the devastation of Hurricane Helene has been recently. And there is going to be a link in the description that is specifically to provide resources, support, anything else to anybody affected by the hurricane. So a list that WCU has put together that has like ways to get relief or ways to donate or support and give relief to anybody. So that will be in the description. But moving on from all of the student and athlete and life to our lightning round, which is our section with short little questions with some short little answers from you. So what has been your favorite class at WCU so far?
Surprisingly, I took oceanography and loved it. Weird one. Yeah.
So random. I right off the bat too. All right. And you didn't want to like change your major?
Not at all. That was enough science for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I have one before I get in the box. So I put on my gloves, elbow guard, helmet, all in the same order. And then I draw on the dirt and I look up and I sing Fancy by Reba McEntire while I'm in the box. So
there you go. Very specific routine, but I mean, if it works. And then what is your favorite sports team or athlete other than anything at WCU?
I'm going to go Seattle Mariners.
Shout out to the Seattle Mariners. And then what is your favorite post-game meal?
Oh, that's a good one. I like when we go to Tropical Smoothie. That's probably my favorite.
That's a unique answer. Normally everyone says LPAT. But anyways, the very last question to kind of tie everything together is what is the best advice you've received as a student athlete, and kind of in turn, what advice would you give to any incoming student athletes?
I hit on this briefly, but I just think that as a student athlete, it is super important to realize that you matter as a person and not just a player. And I am so thankful for everyone here at Western that has helped me realize that about myself. I wish that I have known that a little more coming in, but now I do, and I'm so grateful that I do.
Well, thank you so much for that advice. And I think that kind of can go for everybody, not just student athletes as well. You are more than just the thing you do. You are a person beyond that. And that can be difficult to realize for some, especially whenever you're so tied into the sport. But that was our very last question. Thank you again, Kennedy, for coming into the studio. Hope everybody is able to check out those resources in the description. We'll see you next time, and go Cats.